Hello, students. Today we are going to learn about the development of insect metamorphosis. When summer came, many people began to wear clothes made of silk. Do you know what silk is made of? Yes, it's silk. Where does the silk come from? Yes, silk comes from the domesticated silkworms that we are all familiar with. The silkworm goes through these stages in its life. Students, do you know what the chronological order of these stages is? Why don't you try ranking them yourself? Yes, a silkworm's life begins with an egg, then a larva, a cocoon, pupation, emergence into an adult, and then the male and female adults mate, and then lay eggs and enter the next phase of their life. From this point of view, silkworm life to go through the egg, larva, pupa, adult 4 stages of development. Think about it, students. What other insects develop in a similar way to silkworms? Yes, the same is true of our common beetles and butterflies. Beetles, bees, mosquitoes, flies, and other insects have to go through the development of eggs, larvae, pupae, adult 4 periods. Such metamorphosis development process is called complete metamorphosis. Adults and larvae of complete metamorphoses are not only very different in external morphology and internal structure, but also in most cases their feeding habits and living environments. Let's think about it again. What is the way locusts grow and develop? We've seen locusts that look very much like adults when they're young, but we've never seen locusts that look like caterpillars. Locusts go through 3 stages in their life: egg, young, and adult. The young period, shape and living habits of locusts are similar to adult insects, but the body is small. The reproductive organs are not mature, only wing buds called nymphs. After several molts, the body gradually grows and develops into winged, flying adults without going through the pupal stage. Like locusts, the development process has to go through 3 periods: egg stage, juvenile stage, and adult stage, and this metamorphosis development process is called incomplete metamorphosis. Insects such as Orthoptera, Hemiptera, Homoptera, Thysanoptera, and Isoptera. By comparison, it can be seen that the biggest difference between the 2 metamorphoses is that the incomplete metamorphosis does not have a pupal stage. Pupa is a unique static insect state that completely metamorphosis insects must pass through when they change from larva to adult. During this period, the insects undergo drastic changes in transforming larval organs into adult organs. Pupae are relatively resilient and have protection or hide in hidden places. So many species of insects often use pupae to survive adverse environments or seasons, such as winter. We also often have the idiom cocoon oneself tied. Here the cocoon is slightly different from the chrysalis. Cocoon is completely metamorphosed insect pupal stage of the sac of protection. It is made of secreted silk, mucus and soil, calcium and plant fibers. For example, the silk emitted by silkworms forms a cocoon from which we can draw silk, or the cocoon of a stinging moth, which is often seen on trees in the shape of a bird's egg. Spiny moths, known as octagon nails, have hard cocoons that cling to the bark or branch of a tree. After they have emerged, the remains of the cocoon remain attached to the tree. Insect pupation requires a process. Here are the quiet pupation of silkworms in their cocoons. The pictures show pupae at different times. Pupation is a process or phenomenon in which the larvae of completely metamorphosed insects change from a free-moving insect state to a non-feeding and immobile insect state after obtaining sufficient nutrients. Pupae come in a variety of forms, with the following 3 common species. The first is exarate pupa. Antennae on the pupa, wings and feet are not attached to the pupa body and can move freely. Chrysalis of Coleoptera, Hymenoptera and other insects are of this type. Like beetles, bees, ants. The second type is obtect pupa. The tentacles, wings, feet and other body appendage are close to the pupa body, cannot move freely. The pupae of Lepidoptera are of this type, such as butterflies and moths. The third is coarctate pupa. They themselves are exarate pupae, but the pupae is still covered with retained and hardened skin of the final larval instar. It looks something like this. The pupae of some Diptera insects are of this type. Like flies. Let's take a look at how important the pupal stage is for insects in a video.
有些蛹很灵活，甚至能动腿，称为离蛹。比如大部分的鞘翅目和膜翅目。有些蛹几乎不能动，附肢都紧贴在身上，称为背蛹，比如鳞翅目。有些还包裹着幼虫残留的外壳，称为围蛹，更加没有活动能力，比如双翅目。总的来说，昆虫纲有将近30个目，只有10个左右会经历游泳的完全变态。但就是这10个目占据了地球生命70%以上的物种，仅一个鞘翅目就独占全体动物界1/4的物种。出现这种局面也不难理解。变态发育最大的特点是将积累营养的幼虫阶段和繁殖后代的成虫阶段从时空上分隔开来。差异巨大的生理结构意味着完全不同的生活环境和生活习性，不但有效避免了亲子两代的竞争，还让单一物种可以占据更多样的生态位，增加了生存的机会。而且延后的胚胎发育降低了卵的营养需求，昆虫可以产下数量更多的后代，而蛹不需要取食，又能帮助昆虫度过许多食物短缺的时节。这最终令完全变态的昆虫占据了数量最多的生态位，在同级别生物类群中成为最壮大的一个。
Silkworms are often introduced into poetry by literati and writers. Tang Dynasty Li Shangyin. Spring silkworm to the death of the silk. Wax torchlight into ashes and tears dry this sentence. With the silent silk spinning behavior of the silkworm, praised a large number of people willing to contribute. From the analysis of the development process of silkworm, what is the inaccuracy of this poem? Can you make it more scientific by changing 2 of the words? Well, yes, changing till death to pupate is more rigorous. But it does seem to lack its own poetry and beauty. All right, class, please preview the life history of insects, overlapping generations. Look for insect pupae in the campus. Record the pupae site. Take pictures and upload them to the WeChat learning group for mutual communication. Class, that's all for today's lesson. See you next time.